I imagine you get to play a lot of original music, both yours and other people's. And
Yeah.
I'd be curious on your insight um, on ways that you've learned to quickly be able to both sight read and interpret and get your own voice in there when you're playing other people's music. Maybe you've rehearsed it before a show, probably not, right? So like what are some experiences or do you have any specific memories of like times where you something really clicked and you figured out like, oh, you know, here's something I can do or here's something I need to work on.
Yeah, definitely. The New York experience has been pretty great for that, and that's a big reason why I moved to New York. You know, my aspirations was always to play with a lot of the great musicians that were in this scene. And just last week, I played with Patrick Cornelius's octet at Smalls, and it's all original writing. And this guy writes his ass off, man. And it's like pretty heavy from a guitar standpoint. Like, well, I guess all the instruments, but it's a lot of reading. The way he writes for the guitar is tremendous, and there's some solo moments. And you know, with if I think about that experience and then a lot of other experiences like the session that I ran for almost 5 years and all the original music that was thrown at me every week, you kind of have to build your experience with that. And what I've learned that over time is that the more experience I gained kind of reading and interpreting people's original music, the easier that it got. And something that kind of clicked with me last week with Patrick's music was it's like, oh man, if I see something that might be intimidating or challenging, like a solo section that's got like a ton of harmony and like metric modulations, in the past that would like kind of freak me out. And like I wouldn't know how to sound good over that, like maybe a decade ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just sort of like sit back and listen, and it just all kind of seems to be a lot easier. Like if I don't try to force
Yeah.
myself musically into it, but just allow it to kind of come to me
Mm-hmm.
and have a little bit more trust in the people I'm playing with, which is easier when you're a little bit more of a seasoned vet. You know, you've established your way of playing, and you've established your way of connecting with the rhythm section. Yeah, so I think the message is like just build experience. It's not always going to be great when you're starting out with that, but that eventually you can get to a point where you can kind of like trust in yourself and the musicians around you, and sound good over difficult music.
Kind of comes down to the word react, huh?
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's like a sort of a synergy, I think, when you're playing jazz at some of the highest levels, where it's like everybody's just kind of reacting together in this beautiful circle. And I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Werner talks a lot about that. You know, it's like everything I do is a reaction from what the rhythm section is doing, and everything that they're doing is a reaction from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can embrace that, it's just like the greatest feeling when you're connecting with musicians like that.